At APAC, we learned that relationships fuel just about everything. And we know from experience that the personal connections we make with our country's leaders can have an impact on their decisions and the way they view the world. Some friendships become more famous than others, but every single discussion, each interaction has the potential to change the conversation and sometimes even the course of history. In the 1940s, Rabbi Sam Thurman led the congregation where I now serve as senior rabbi. Rabbi Thurman was active in the community and in world affairs. Like many Missouri men of his time, he was a member of a fraternal organization dedicated to the betterment of his beloved state. One of Rabbi Thurman's close friends moved away from Missouri and in 1945 became the 33rd President of the United States, Harry S. Truman. The two men wrote to one another often during years that saw unspeakable tragedy in Europe, unimaginable changes here in the United States, and ultimately, unbelievable triumph for the Jewish people. Throughout it all, the rabbi remained a sounding board, an advisor, a constant voice, a close friend. This is the story about the importance of relationships. This is the story of Sam and Harry.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin from CBS World News. A press association has just announced that President Roosevelt is dead.
Vice President Harry Truman, who from here on will be President Truman, went immediately to the White House.
Dear Mr. President, you know full well how much I have always trusted in your faithfulness, loyalty, and devotion. With all my heart, I invoke God's blessing upon you and yours. Devotedly, Samuel Thurman.
My dear Rabbi Thurman, my warmest thanks for your generous words of approval and for the kind assurances which your letter conveys. Your prayers are indeed a source of strength in these days of new task. Very sincerely yours, Harry.
The genuine respect and friendship felt within these letters between the president and the rabbi also extended to personal visits. Rabbi Thurman repeatedly traveled to our nation's capital throughout Truman's presidency, and most especially in the turbulent months leading up to the establishment of the Jewish state.
Dear Mr. President, may I express my personal gratitude for your reported view on the Palestine question. I have a firm conviction that you will do what in your power lies to accomplish a just and humane decision with reference to the settlement of Jews, especially those who are now homeless and stateless.
Your very kind letter is indeed appreciated. It was fine of you to write me as you did.
Dear Mr. President, thank you again for so generously taking the time in your very busy calendar to see me and to talk with me as only true friends can.
I certainly appreciated your good letter, and I am very happy that you enjoyed your visit here. I told you exactly how I felt with regard to the world situation and all its ramifications. Sincerely yours, Harry.
In November of 1947, within days of Rabbi Thurman's White House visit, the United Nations General Assembly passed the now famous resolution calling for Palestine to be partitioned between Arabs and Jews. The Arab world immediately rejected the partition plan. Fighting broke out and continued through the many months ahead. In May of 1948, Rabbi Thurman traveled again to the White House, and just 24 hours before David Ben-Gurion would declare a state, the rabbi, always one to speak up, sent another letter to the White House.
My visit with you last week is now a most cherished memory. It is a deep faith which your words inspired in me that the courageous sons and daughters of Israel will have your support for the partition plan in Palestine.
Dear Rabbi Thurman, I enjoyed the visit with you very much and appreciated most highly your letter. It looks as if the Palestine situation is very dark this morning, although we recognize the Jewish Free State as soon as they organized a government and asked for recognition.
Dear Mr. President, my heart is full of thanksgiving for the courageous and noble action which you took by your immediate recognition of Israel. May God bless you and a nation which is blessed by your high and dauntless leadership.
In the years that followed, the two men remained close. Rabbi Thurman gave the benediction at President Truman's second inauguration in the winter of 1949, marking the first time that a rabbi offered prayers at such a gathering. Each gentleman was on hand to mark the achievements of the other, until on a cold winter's day in 1963, former President Harry S. Truman served as an honorary pallbearer at the funeral service for his dear friend, a man who understood the historic times he lived in, a man who understood the power of relationships, a man who always chose to lead. Thank you.